And this is the area where we talk about doing your presentation. What happens in strategy, whether you're internal or an external consultant, or you're just presenting on something that you're doing for your business unit, for the company overall, or for the industry, or anything like that, you come to a point almost always where you've done your written strategy and then you need to present it. Now that happens for a bunch of reasons. One is that people will generally not read a long strategy. They should. It's their job. It's what they are supposed to be doing to comply with their responsibilities, but they don't. People don't like to read, or they don't know how to read, or they read for content, and also they're very busy. So what they'll do is they're waiting for you to make a presentation. And often when you'll have, if you submit a strategy document even of however many pages, you might get your boss to look at it, read, sign off on it, but you need a bigger group of people to approve a major strategic difference. And when you're an external consultant, you're always you're either presenting this to the senior management and the board, or you're creating something that they can present to themselves if for some reason they don't want you there because it's controversial and for any number of reasons. Often when you're a consultant, you hand over this thing and you hand over the presentation. Somebody else makes it, but it's your presentation. Anyway, the point is that you will almost always, for an important strategy, important change, be called upon to make a presentation in front of people to do that. And these days, you do that with slides on a PowerPoint or something similar concept. That will change over time, but right now that's what we're working with, and we're used to it, and it works. So a couple things I want to say about that. You'll see in the book you'll see examples of slides. You'll see how it works. By the way, those change. Slides these days might be very clean, very black and white, small things. In the old, before that, they were very colorful with a whole bunch of little people on them, and it's always going to change based on current taste, technology, innovation, and what you can do with the presentations. But just be attentive to what's going on now. Look at major companies' web pages, slide, these things that are happening, and you'll see that those changes. Also, slide length. Everyone will tell you keep it short, keep it simple, just a few bullet points. That is true in general. Like if I'm teaching a class, you don't want to see a bunch of things. However, in business, it's a completely different world. You may really need to pack your slides with detail. If you're talking about financial outcome of a thing, that you're not boring anyone with a slide that shows how much money you've made or how much money you've lost or what's at risk or what's not at risk, how you protect these things. That's what they're there for. So take that with a grain of salt. Your audience determines what kind of slide you do. What might be extremely boring for some people is the end all in life to others. So they want to see every single thing, and it's not enough, and they'll ask for more. Other times you just want one word on a slide. Like if you're speaking in front of a public speaking event, you'll want maybe just a picture, something that is meaningless, except it gives you a way to catch their interest and talk. It's based on your audience. Now, I will say, when you do a presentation, make sure it's perfect. I don't want, you just don't want to see anything that's bad in that. If you've ever worked for a major consulting company, you'll see that you're up against the world's best. There can't be one font the wrong size, one thing indented too much. A misspelled word will lose you the job. The wrong colors that change from one slide to the next, or inconsistencies. When you're trying to do something professionally, when you're in business, it has to be perfect. It's totally different from what you're doing now in school. I mean, and that's why I like to see you guys do things that are getting to the point of excellence, because when you're in business, it has to be right. And I think that's the key thing here. Make sure you've got everything lined up, all the fonts right, all the colors right, the size, the shape, everything has to be just perfect. No mistakes. A mistake will cost you. If you're doing a presentation in front of your board and you have your budget numbers and there's one number that's wrong, that's just a typo. How can you have a typo on a presentation for the board? It's impossible. It cannot ever happen. So make sure it goes really well. When you're doing your presentation and strategy, same thing. Don't let your sloppiness, your just lack of attention ruin your entire strategy, and it will. If you draw people's attention to something you don't want like that, they'll miss your point. Don't let it happen. Don't get in the way of your own stuff. Anyway, so look at it the other way. Be known as a person that's always perfect, always doing it just right, always has it down, always pays attention to detail, always is accurate. That's the kind of reputation you want, and that'll go a long ways for you. And just apply that to your presentation on your strategy. All right? Thanks a lot.